Hey guys, hope everyone had a nice holiday. Just back with another Python video. We'll be continuing the video tutorial series. We'll be going over a few more file operations. So this is modifying the T file that we made in the previous video. If you haven't seen the previous video, watch the playlist from the beginning, the Python playlist, so you understand. So we'll just start. I'm in PyCharm. So here we'll just create a main function. So def main. We'll set found. Actually, no, not found. We'll just say flag points to false. So here we'll have the same search string points to input, and we'll say enter the search string, or the string, enter a string to search for. We'll add a new line here. So we're going to modify the file. So here we'll say new quantity. So we're going to change the old quantity. We'll point it to and cast it int to the input function. And here we'll say enter the new quantity. I'll add a new line here. And then here we'll create our file object. So we'll say we're going to output data to the file. So we'll say output file points to the open function. So I'm going to create a Windows path here. You can create a Mac or Linux path, whatever. So I'll just do the path that's for my computer. So I just called it file.txt, and then we're going to say that we want to open it in read mode. So here we're going to create a temp file. We'll point it to the same exact thing basically. We're going to write it. Actually, we're going to write a temp file, but we're going to open it. So you have to open it and then write it. So this is going to be the same path. So I'm just going to write the path here. Same path. Except I'm going to change the file name to temp.txt. And we're going to open that in write mode instead of read mode. So now we'll read the first record in the file. So we'll say description. So remember we had a few lines in that file to start. I don't know how many it was, but we might have to just trial and error it again. I forgot because I did that before Christmas, so it's now Boxing Day here. So here we'll say, so we'll point it to output file dot read line. So description points to output file dot read line. So it's going to get the first line in the file, save it to the description variable. And then now we'll say we'll have a loop here, so we're going to loop through. So we'll say while description does not equal an empty string. That's denoted with just 2 quotes with no space in between. Then here we'll have another variable here called quantity. We'll point it to just the coffee, sorry, not coffee. Oh, actually, did we call this something else? No, I think we just called it file.txt, so we'll just point it to, hopefully it is the same name. Because I forgot if we named it the same thing or was it t.txt. I think it's just file.txt, that's what I called it, I think. So here we'll just say, so we have quantity points to. So we're just going to read the line. We could cast it if we needed to, but I'm not going to do that here because I actually forgot what we did. But if you really wanted to, you could cast it to a float here or an int, depending on what kind of data you want to grab it as. So you can grab the data as an int or you can grab it as a float. We're just going to keep it as a string here because it's saved as a string. But just know that you can convert the data or grab it as something else. Or fetch it, I guess. Here we can have just a string, and then we'll just say we call it output file, so output file dot txt. Actually, no, not txt. So output file dot read line again. So it's going to get the next line. So here we'll say we'll strip the new line, so we'll say description points to description, so it points to itself. Description points to description dot r strip. And we'll just strip out the new line by passing in the new line in quotes. So we're gonna write this record to a temporary file or to a new record if it has a match. So if that's confusing, we'll just do it so you guys understand. So here we'll have an if statement. So we'll say if description is equal to the string, the search string. Then in that case, So we're going to put that data in a temp file then, in this case. So if it equals, we'll put it in the temp file. So if it's a match, if it's a hit, then we'll put it in the temp file. So we'll say temp file dot write. So we'll write it to the temp file. We'll pass in description, add a plus. So we'll concatenate that with a new line. And here we'll say temp file also dot write. Description again. We'll cast it to a string just in case. I don't think, yeah, we actually need that in quotes, so, sorry, in parentheses, so string cast it to. Do we say new quantity? Plus a new line, concatenated to a new line. Here we'll set the flag to true. So we'll say flag points to true. So basically if there was no match, so if the description doesn't equal to the search string, we'll have an else. Then we'll write the original record to the temp file then. So here, actually, wait a minute, it shouldn't be the temp file, is it? Actually, no, that's fine. So we're going to write it to the temp file as well. Match or not match. Whatever it is, we're just going to write it. So here we'll have a temp file dot write. Description again. Same. This is basically the same thing. Plus a new line. Then here we'll have temp file dot write. This string casted to new quantity plus a new line. So description here. So we'll get the next. I think this is. I can't tell if this is out of the if or the else because my university textbook has no indentations at all. It's all one. It's all on the same thing. So you might have to spend some time here to figure it out. So what I mean by that is this whole code is on this same indentation. It's like all like this. So every time, like within this, basically where description is, that indentation, it's all the way down like this. All the way down, pretty much. There's no indentation. So I'm trying to like just figure out what the indentations are. Some of them make sense, obviously, like if it's if or else. But in this case, this part can be tricky in that case. Okay, so we have an else here. We wrote the data to the temp file. I think after that, I think either way we're going to read the next description. So we'll try it like this and see if it works. So we'll say description points to output file dot read line again. Okay, so we can basically we can now close both files. So we can say output file dot close, and we'll say temp file dot close. So now we'll so I think OS stands for operating system. I think it does. So tell me here. Yeah, I think it does stand for operating system. So here we're going to access the operating system. So we haven't discussed this that much before, but don't worry about it. Just know that we're accessing the operating system at this time through Python basically. So we're saying os.remove here. So we're just going to remove the file from the system by basically passing the path in this case, I'm assuming. So we'll just try it. So we'll say, because the way they did it is they have the file in the in your Python folder. But for me, I just do it through a path, because if you're not using PyCharm in this case, if you're just using the standard command prompt to write all this code, then you're not going to have a Python folder. You're just going to have access to your actual operating system files. So here we'll just go with that. So we'll just write the path in for Windows PC and my path. So we'll have that, and then we'll have desktop, and then we'll have, whoops, just file dot, actually we're deleting file.txt, and then we're going to, that should be alright. Okay, so if this isn't correct, it's going to delete the file either way. That's probably not a good idea. So let's just comment these, let's have these, but let's comment them out for now, till we know we got the right result, and we'll delete the file after that. So we're gonna eventually remove the original file, and then here we'll say os.rename. So OS has probably a lot of different functions. So this is pretty much this is like command line power pretty much, because we have these are, if you notice, if you ever watched the Linux series I did, or if you know Linux, so this is mkdir, that's make directory, path, pipe. You can pipe things like Linux, probably in command prompt too. Remove directory, that's what it means. Close, write, open, abort, access. I forgot what that means. I learned it, but I forgot. Basically another command. These are all operating system commands pretty much, and there's a lot of them. See how many there is? There's hundreds of them pretty much. So that's a lot of commands. The operating system does have a lot of commands as well. So here we're actually gonna just call the rename command. So we'll say os.rename. So this works as we pass in an old path, and we're going to pass in a new path. So here we'll say pretty much pass in, actually no, sorry, I think we passed in the new path that's going to replace the old path. So here we'll have the new path. So here I'll put the new path, actually no, sorry, that's the old path. So I'll say, what do we call this? temp.txt. So now we'll replace the the new path. So the new file is going to rename. So this temp.txt is going to now rename the old file pretty much. Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what we're doing here? Apologize if I confuse anyone. So what's actually happening here, I believe, is that we're going to rename temp to file. So we're going to rename the new file with the old file name. So we're renaming, so replacing this name, the original name, with the past name. So the first parameter is the original name. Second parameter is the new name. So yeah, we're going to rename file.txt is going to be, temp.txt is going to become file.txt. There's a problem with that, I think. I think maybe you need this one too, do you? No? Let's see here. Okay, I think we got too many quotes here, parentheses, that's the problem. Yeah, I think that was the problem, so that should be fine now. We'll just move on to the next part. So we're gonna just comment these out for now until we have the exact results. We don't delete our data just in case. Okay, so now we kind of got a discrepancy here. It's trying to nest this with something. Because now we're trying to see if the search value was not found in the file. Actually, I think this could just be out of everything. No, actually, no, it has to be connected with something. Okay, what would be the best fit for this? Well, description does not equal. Excuse me, okay, so maybe this? No. If the search value is not found in the file, display a message. Okay, well, if the search value was search value, I don't think this is description. It's not description. Would it be a description? I don't think so. No, search value goes with search string. So maybe we just need a general if. Would that work? Okay, so maybe we may not need to put that in anything. So here we could just say, so still in the, are we still in the while loop? Perhaps we are. I have a feeling that this closes out of the while loop too. So let's take these out of the while loop, because that wouldn't make sense if every time you close the file, you close it when you're done the loop usually. So here we'll have I think outside of everything, then we can just say if found, which means found is equal to true. Where basically it's equivalent to all it's saying is this is basically, sorry, not found. What do we call it? Flag. So if flag, that just means that's equivalent to if flag is equal to true. So when you call the boolean like that, it's just asking if it's equal to true. And if you say not flag like this, then it means the opposite, if flag is equal to false. So you're going to see those, pretty much. I'd rather just put it like this, flag is equal to true. It's up to you though, doesn't really matter, whatever. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, so it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. So here we'll say if flag is equal to true, print file has, we can say file update complete. Otherwise, so we can have an else here. So here we'll print item, or you could say data not found or something in file. After all that, we can finally call the main function. So let's go over that. There might be a problem here because we had some extra read lines. So how many do we have? I think it was it 6, 7, or 8? One of those numbers. Do we have to import something? Yeah, we're gonna need to. Sorry, we need to import OS here. Is that actually not used? It should be used. There's no error though. That's alright. So let's just go with that. I'm gonna save it and run it, see what happens here. I think there's gonna be a problem because there's gonna be some this description might not match the exact string that it's supposed to start at. So you could copy this maybe 6 to 8 times depending. However, maybe even check the file and see what's the first line. Maybe delete the extra stuff that's not needed too. So we'll just say red T, I think. Just do massive number. Data not found in file, okay. Should match. Call it, is there a space? I don't think there was a space, was there? Okay, it did work. Okay, so it worked either way, so don't worry about it. There's still probably some extra stuff in that file because we've been using the same. Well, I have been using the same file throughout this whole file operation series, so there's going to be extra stuff in there. Basically, what happened is we modified the file and printed the data to a new file. So you should see both files on your desktop. If you copy these, if you put it on your desktop at least, whatever folder you put it into, you should see the files. And you should see the file renamed either way. With the new quantity, so we changed that old quantity. So if I just run that again, I don't think I really need to walk through this with you guys, like through the debugger. I showed you guys how to do that in the series several times. It's just gonna save. It's a good way to practice, so if you really need to. If you really don't understand this, I strongly advise to walk through this through the debugger like I showed you in the previous videos. If you haven't seen those, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, we'll rewatch the series. Basically in the loops especially, I walk through the debugger. I show you how to step through each variable, each line by line. That's the way to learn code. If you still don't understand this, I'll just do a quick. Okay, so let me just change this data here just to show you guys what I mean. So what's happening here is we're saying, okay, enter a string to search for. Remember I had one string named red t in the file. Let's just change the quantity to 99. Now that file that we had a long string, maybe like 100 million or a billion, it's now changed to 99, so you should see 99 in that new file. So what happened is we're creating a boolean here, setting it to false initially, creating a string to search for, we're taking input, we're entering a new quantity to change, accessing both files, reading the description in that file, which probably isn't the description. It's checking if that description is empty. If it's not empty, proceed to get the new quantity, which is probably isn't the exact quantity, but in that file there should be a number changed. What I mean by that is there might be some extra lines in that file, so you may need to just write this a few times so you get the right, you're at the right point that you want to start accessing data, because this readline method goes line by line. So you may need to do that. I think it was maybe 6 to 8 times. I can't remember. Something like that. So try that. One of them works. You can always check the file, delete the extra crap, and then just try it again. So basically, it gets the quantity in the file, strips the new line, takes the new line out. If the description points to the search string, write the new description, which is basically just write the new string or the new data. Also access it in the, actually also write it the new quantity as well. Set the flag to true. If the description is empty, which means that there's no data in the file, write the new description in the file as well, and the data, whether it's empty or not. Get the next line in the file. That's going to continue. And then eventually close the files. And then now we can uncomment these. And if you run that, it will delete the file and rename it as well. So pretty much that's the end of the code. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys like the video, you can give me a thumbs up if you'd like. If you guys like the channel, you can subscribe for more programming videos, investing videos if you like. More languages are coming soon, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.